So how old are you?
25.
And are you an IV drug user?
I am.
How long have you been an IV drug user?
About 8 years.
Is there anything that you wish you had been told or that you had known when you were younger, or maybe when you first started using?
When I first started using, it was with friends, and they never told me about how addictive it was and how sick you would get. And I was using recreationally on the weekends to begin with, and then it started daily because I was waking up sick and not knowing what was going on with my body, and then eventually learning that the dope was making me so sick. And I wish that I would have been told that it takes total control of your physical and mental body and can make you that sick.
Heroin is a physical addiction. It's not a mental addiction. It's not something that you just put down and say, yeah, I'm done with it. What it does is it goes into your brain and it replaces the dopamine that your hypothalamus produces. So when your hypothalamus doesn't need to produce that chemical that you're putting into your body, it stops doing it. What causes the withdrawals is that when you stop feeding it that and it's not getting it for free, the hypothalamus has to work really hard to make the same amount of dopamine just to make your normal day go, which causes the body pains, the restless leg, the diarrhea, the sweats, vomiting,
cold, hot flashes.
Yeah. If I can say anything to anybody who's going to watch this video, don't do heroin.
What are some of the risks of using needles to use drugs?
Oh, there's a few risks. For one, hepatitis C, HIV.
Hepatitis C and AIDS can be passed through intravenous drug use by sharing needles or sharing even the cotton that you use to pull your drugs through.
You can get abscesses.
What's an abscess?
An abscess is when an infection grows under the muscle and under the skin, and they actually have to lance it.
They cut a hole in you, they take all the infection out, and they leave it open and pack it with gauze.
You have to continue to go back to the hospital to get it unpacked and repacked, and it has to heal from the inside out.
So you have an open wound on your body.
I don't know if you can see, but here's one.
Do you have any track marks?
Yeah, there's a small dimple there. And these are from over 4 years of usage. There's a dimple there. And that happens when you continuously use the same place. And that's not safe either. You should always try and use a different place, rotate.
2 months ago, there was some bad dope going around, and what it had in it was it had rat poison, feces, and some other stuff in it.
I heard about that.
And it was almost killing a lot of people.
Those are just some of the downsides of the intravenous drug use.
What are some things that you do to be safe?
I try and use a new needle every time.
I never, ever, and let me repeat, ever share a rig, cotton, or water, or anything that I use to inject my drugs with anyone else. Ever.
So you've never shared needles?
I have
in the past, I'm not gonna lie.
I have.
Do you know other people who do?
Almost everybody probably does.
If they have drugs and they don't have needles, they're gonna use it somehow.
Well, they have the needle exchange up here, which is great. You can go there Monday through Fridays, exchange your needles.
We are a program that was started 21 years ago here in Portland that works with IV drug users to help reduce the harm on the community and the individuals due to injectable drugs. We do HIV and hepatitis C testing, syringe exchange.
For free? It's all free?
Yes, everything is free. And we talk a lot about vein care, how to keep yourself safe, HIV, hepatitis C prevention. We do referrals to drug and alcohol treatment centers and things like that. So it's basically talking to people about what their options are and what they're interested in.
But if people aren't interested in it,
they don't have to talk to us about it.
What does someone have to do to get services?
Walk in the door, ask for needles. We're going to ask very basic statistics like age. You have to be over the age of 18. How many needles you're bringing back. We see between 100 and 150 people a day. It is something that does make a difference last year we took in over 500,000 needles here in our 25 hours a week. So that's 500,000 needles that aren't in our parks, in our sewers, in our trash cans, on our sidewalks.
Kids picking it up. I remember I found a needle on the ground when I was a kid and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. You just know you want to play doctor. Science has proven that syringe exchange is effective to lower HIV rates, lower hepatitis C rates, lower overdose rates, and increase recovery rates in cities that have them. And it's a very widely studied program, as it's a very controversial program.
What do you think is some misinformation that IV drug users have?
They can just use recreationally, and that it's going to be okay, and once you get into it, it's hard to get out.
There's a big myth out there that if you bleach a needle, it's good. Bleach does not kill hepatitis C. So if you have a friend that shoots up and you use that same needle, even if you bleach it out, if your friend has hepatitis C, you're still taking a chance on getting hepatitis C because bleach does not kill hepatitis C.
Around HIV specifically, the people assume that their greatest risk for getting HIV is using needles, when in reality, even amongst IV drug users, most people who get HIV are getting it from their sexual practices.
So where did you learn what you know about being safe?
Actually, I learned at Outside In here in Portland.
Their services are great. I think they try and inform people very well. They have she's kind of a counselor that speaks to people if they're having problems. They always have safety things written on their board. If bad dope's going around, they've got messages, postages about it, and that really helps people too.
For me, that is the hardest part about working here, is just knowing that there's not enough services to go around.
What are some misconceptions that you think people have about IV drug users?
In the end, they are still people, and it's an addiction, and a lot of people don't see addiction as a disease, and that's a huge misconception because it is a disease.
Not every intravenous drug user is out there to rob, steal, to do whatever they have to get their next fix. I used to tour with the Grateful Dead, nice stuff. I hang out with a lot of, I guess you would say, hippie kids. A lot of them turn their backs on me because, I've been using heroin. The person they follow across the United States, Jerry Garcia, was an intravenous drug user. He did heroin. It almost doesn't make sense to me. They didn't turn their back on Jerry and quit touring.
If there was one thing that you could do, that you could say, that you could make sure everyone was informed about, what would it be?
You're worth taking care of yourself. No matter what you're doing, no matter what drugs you're using, no matter what stigmas are being placed upon you, everyone has the right and the responsibility to take care of their health and take care of themselves, and you're worth it, even if you don't feel like it and nobody else realizes you are. You can make positive changes, and you do have the power to do that.
If you are an intravenous drug user and you have hepatitis C or you have AIDS, don't offer someone to share their needle, just to give them a rig or a rig to use. No matter how hard up you are, it's not worth it. Because one day you might have a family, you might have kids, and